All right, we're here live. Celtics live post-game. Back after the All-Star break, the Celtics win streak has unfortunately come to an end as Kyrie Irving just goes off yet again against his former team, the team that, he's always facing, the Demons. I kind of feel like it's switched now. It's not Kyrie Irving having to face Boston. It's Boston having to face Kyrie Irving, because I have the feeling every single time the Celts play this guy until, from now until the end of time, he's dropping, near 40 points on us. But, yeah, it's a tough game to sort of react to, because I'm not, overly pissed. I'm happy to have basketball back. The Celtics played, pretty hard for, 44 minutes. We're going to talk about all that on tonight's post-game show, so appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Like this stream. I think we hit 50 likes live during last stream, the last game before the break, so that was pretty awesome. Let's get as many likes as we can tonight. And, yeah, just subscribe to the channel, and, we're here to live after every single Celtics game. But it was a tough one. Like I said, my emotions are mixed, and I always say that, right? So, while I'm watching this game, I go from watching it to literally seconds later jumping on the stream, and some games like this, I have to take the first portion of the stream to just figure out where the hell my head's going. But let's get into the box score first, and then we'll get to some chat. Before we get into any of that, I'm telling you guys, you got to head over to manscaped.com. They are still the sponsor of the stream from now through March. So use code CelticsLive to save 20% off and free shipping over on manscaped.com. I love the DMs I'm getting. I appreciate the support, guys. It's really, 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 really a good way to support the stream and support your boys. So head over to manscaped.com and use promo code CelticsLive for 20% off. Now let's look at the box score here. So it was a 121-109 loss for the Celtics. And honestly, I'm going to start with the good, okay? Jayson Tatum started cold, but whatever. He finished with 31, 5 rebounds, 50% or 60% from the field, 43% from three. Only got to the line a couple times, but I still think it was a good performance from him, where we can't blame Tatum, obviously, tonight. The next good thing, Marcus Smart coming back, 66% from the field, 60% from three, got to the line 9 times, 19 points from him. Marcus Smart looked pretty good. He was back. But then we have the ugly. We look at the good, and then we got to look at the ugly. Jaylen Brown had a puke game. 23 shots from him, only made 5, 13 points. Kemba Walker, another, a bad game too out of these two guys. They only combined for 24 points. Yikes. The Celtics aren't beating any team if these guys are combining for, under 25 points. Never mind the Nets. But with that being said, let's get into, I guess I got to give Kyrie credit where it's due. 40 points and 8 rebounds from him on 65% from the floor tonight. But let's get into some of the chat here. And, yeah, I don't know. Do we have a vent sesh? Do we have they tried, they played hard? Do we have a, hey, the season's, chalk the season type of thing? Let's get into some of the chat. Movie says the season's chalked. Perfect first comment to read. News says, F Kyrie, I hate him. I honestly think he's going to just kill the Celtics. And I'm not that is not my original thought, right? We know Kyrie Irving's just going to kill the Celtics every time they play. And it sucks, because how badly do you want to kill him? How badly do we want to see Tatum and Brown shove it down his throat, right? But I don't know if we're anywhere near that right now. Gear saying, good to be back with the season going. That is a bright spot. That is a bright spot. Greg says, whoever said Jaylen Brown was better than Tatum needs to get their brain scanned. Jaylen Brown's a fraud. Not going as far as a fraud, but I think it's clear that he isn't. And hey, guys, I'm not trying to hate on Jaylen, but it's clear he's not as consistent of a reliable scorer as Jayson Tatum. That I shouldn't be, crucified for saying that. I think that's proven by now. So that's where I'm coming out. I'm not going to the Greg level of Jaylen's a fraud. Greg, I don't know if I believe that. But is he a 27 point per night consistent guy? I'm with you there. Clint says the fact that Grant Williams played is disturbing. Yeah, I mean, Grant Williams wasn't bad out there. You guys know I hate saying that, but I think we can drop one of these anyways. I think we can drop it. Unless Grant Williams is out there scoring buckets. He was, as I look at it now, by far and away the leader in minus for plus minus. He was a minus 18 tonight, but I didn't think he was that bad, but that's the point. And I say it all the time. Grant Williams often goes out there and is a waste of a body. Tonight, good example in my mind. Literally a waste of a body. The only guy that played that didn't score. But that's the fault of the Celtics for having to rely on a guy like Grant Williams. Abdul saying Brown killed the game. He did. We couldn't rely on Brown, and he kept shooting, which I love the guy, but I don't know if he's at the level of shoot myself out of a slump yet. You know what I mean? Ubi says, I'm not going to admit I was one of those people. Or I am going to admit I'm one of those people. Greg says, Kyrie over Kemba, it's not even close. I mean, if you're talking basket, yeah. Kyrie Irving, maybe not with the Celtics, wasn't the team guy. Maybe Kemba is more of a team guy, but if we're just talking skill, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's way better around the rim. You know, he's turning into what is seemingly like a better shooter by far. Yeah, as much as I hate Kyrie, I mean, you'd be stupid not to say that at this point, right? Tommy says, tonight we played well. I love Smart. He's going to be a game changer. That could help us go on a streak. Need to close out games, though. JT turnover was bad. Could cut down to 2 with 1:30. Yeah, I think that, honestly, the Celtics almost lost that game earlier than the last part of the game. So I agree with you, Tommy, but I think I differ in the terms of that was a winnable game. I don't think you're winning that game if Kemba's dropping 11 and Jaylen Brown's dropping 13. You know what I mean? Obviously, we get into the situations, and you're totally right. But the Celtics, like, when I look at this game as a whole, I see Jayson Tatum did everything, and no one else really did. Marcus Smart did. I'll give him credit. But you cannot combat a firepower team, regardless if KD's out. You cannot combat Kyrie Irving and James Harden with one guy like the Celtics tried to do. So while you're correct, they had the chance to win that game, I think they sort of lost the game over the entire game. You know what I mean? They had the lead. They let Brooklyn come back, and they kind of started the second half, right? Really, really, really strong. But there was always this sort of fear of, oh my God, they're just treading water right now. Jimmy saying, fire Danny for not getting Kyrie to re-sign. I don't know if Kyrie was ever going to re-sign. I honestly don't. I think Kyrie hated it here, and, clearly he's more comfortable where he is now. But if there was any way that they could have made it work out, having that Kyrie that we just had would be nice. JT and JB, this is coming from Jason's. JT and JB don't have the grit in them like Jimmy Butler and Smart. They don't. Not yet, though. Not yet. Hopefully that's something that comes. I think Jayson Tatum can dig deep for big shots. Grit, maybe not a good word, but Jayson Tatum knows when a bucket needs to be made, and he makes them. Sometimes he doesn't, just like every basketball player. But Jayson Tatum, to me, has that sort of, we need some buckets, I'm going to go get it, more often than not. News says, unreal treatment Tatum gets by the refs, what they give to Harden. It's crazy, same exact calls. But in the refs' eyes, maybe Jayson Tatum hasn't earned it yet. 2 foul shots from him. And, I would still love to see him drive hard a little bit more. But, because think about this, guys. What Harden does is Harden will get the contact and sell it. Jayson Tatum, before the contact's even an option, he goes to that floater a lot. So maybe it's a little bit of a mix there. Sergio saying Marcus Smart looked good, which is a bright spot. Michael says the next ain't no joke, but Danny better make a trade. I think he needs to. Ian saying Kyrie pisses me off. He just roasted us. Meanwhile, every player on the team dabs him up after the game and kisses his ass. I know. I don't understand. Like, I thought Jaylen Brown hated Kyrie. I thought Marcus Smart would hate Kyrie. There's been multiple reports that, I guess they say the opposite too, but there's been multiple reports saying that everyone respects him. So it puzzles me because we all know how we feel about Kyrie. The guy was a joke here in terms of his interviews and off the court. But he is filthy. He is filthy. Rod says, fire Brad, please. Put Rob in with 1 minute left in the fourth. Yeah, I still don't get it. Even when Rob Williams isn't having a good game. He didn't have a good game tonight. Had, some timely blocks. We'll give him that. He had 6 blocks. I'm looking at the box score. Holy crap. But he didn't have a good game tonight, but it's like, was Tristan Thompson having that great of a game? I didn't think so. Daniel Tice, I did think played well, but it's just the inconsistent minutes. Like, Robert Williams playing 16 minutes and Grant Williams playing 16 minutes does not compute in my mind. How do you look at those guys and they get the same amount of minutes? Does not compute in my mind. Ray says, back to Marcus Smart chucking up threes, thinking he's Steph. Brad Stevens' rotation sucks ass. I'm going to disagree with the Marcus Smart part. Marcus Smart, 60% from 3 tonight. He hit. I don't think Marcus Smart took any threes where I was, maybe a couple. Maybe the 2 misses, sure. But I don't think he took many threes, and I don't think he took the threes of like, oh my God, screw him for shooting. They were in a scoring drought for a bunch of that game. Marcus Smart had a couple big threes. So while I hope he's not getting back to that point like you're talking about, Ray, I do think this was a good decision-making night for Smart. But Brad's rotations, I just talked about it. Grant Williams and Robert Williams playing the same amount of minutes does not compute in my mind. It really doesn't. It doesn't. Guys, I'm going to ask you guys, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If If you want to share the stream around, if you want to get more people in here, start talking Celtics, feel free to do that. Share the link, everything like that. Share it with your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your ex-lover. Share it with anybody. Let's get some more Celtics fans in here. Sergio says, also should just echo the cement in Ainge's head. We need a trade. Jenna says, what was that? CS says, man, Tatum needs to stop looking for the ref after every shot. He literally jogged back on D and the ref whole time. Yeah, and I think that could contribute to Jayson Tatum not getting the calls. From, like, he had a good game tonight, so I don't want to rag on him. But one thing that we can all agree Jayson Tatum does that he probably started doing before he earned it was complaining about the calls and doing and he puts his arms above his head. You know what I mean? He always does that. Now he deserves the calls where he is at, in my opinion. But I think he was doing this probably prior to deserving those calls, and maybe the consensus around the league, the refs didn't like it. I don't know, because it doesn't make sense. I think Jayson Tatum should be getting way more calls than he does, regardless of if he's doing the floater, like I said. We're going to skip ahead just a little bit in the chat to stay recent here. Jay says, did you see Grant Teague PP lineup out there to start the fourth? It was over then. No Marcus Smart slander. Yeah, again, those rotations are weird. Peyton Pritchard, a nothing game from him. He's a rookie. I'm not going to rag on him. But you can't have him, Jeff Teague, and Grant Williams on the court at the same time. I'll say this. You can't have Grant Williams and Jeff Teague on the court at the same time. And Jeff Teague is playing a little bit better, but he is still in the same boat of, like, he'll get the ball and nothing happens. Have you noticed Jeff Teague gets the ball and literally stands there for 1 second? Guaranteed 1 second. He gets and goes, and then you know he's just going to try and drive to the hoop, but not shoot at the hoop. Grant Williams, the fact that they combined for 32 minutes tonight, talk about a waste. That's 32 minutes that you could be giving to another guy that if you trade for or something like that, or multiple guys. 32 minutes to Grant Williams and Jeff Teague tonight. And this was a healthy Celtics team. A healthy Celtics team, and Grant Williams played 16 minutes, and Jeff Teague played 15 minutes. That's an issue. A big issue. If we're going to win a championship or anything this year. Yeah, right. A healthy Celtics team, and that's what we got. We're hitting that. I didn't think we were going to hit that much. We're hitting it. Jason says, I read a report Kyrie said all the players got along, but he didn't agree with Brad on a few things. Shocker here. Ray says, Marcus Smart's a game changer. Y'all crazy. The only reason we need him is defense and the occasional jump shot when he's open, which is what he did tonight, Ray. That's what he did tonight. Marcus Smart held James Harden to 22 points. Marcus Smart, I think without Marcus Smart tonight, that game's a lot more ugly. Obviously, without Jayson Tatum scoring 30-plus points is a lot more ugly. But Marcus Smart, I think, came back and looked pretty good. Prince says, has the team plateaued? Is this the ceiling? Not the ceiling, but it's pretty damn close. Like, I think, obviously, that game was a lot closer for the most part, and it ends up looking like they, get beat by a bunch. What is that, 12 points? Quick math there. So it looks a little worse than it was. It was a little bit closer, but I do think that this team, healthy team, we can't even beat the non-healthy Nets right now. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. News saying this wasn't a good game for Rob. It's easy to see a blocks and a dunk and say to 0 more minutes, but he got eaten up defensively. Yeah, a few times, but I don't think, and again, I'm gonna die on the hill of, I don't think Robert Williams is gonna learn how to not get eaten up defensively without playing. It's not something you're gonna learn in practice. You're not gonna learn it in film. The way Robert Williams needs to learn to not jump on that pump fake or not get blown by is to play. And we've seen Robert Williams, the more he plays, the better he gets, and that's why I'm saying it. Obviously Daniel Tice had another nice night tonight. Tristan Thompson, he was okay, like not that great, but I don't see why Robert Williams couldn't have played, 8 more minutes tonight, Kale says, how many likes? What we feeling? 25 on a return? What are we at now? Let's get some more likes in here. It's a weird vibe of a stream because I'm not like hot-headed Ev tonight. I'm also obviously not basking in the win Ev tonight. So it's weird because I'm happy that the Celtics are back. I think they played well for a chunk of that game, but then Kyrie torches us. A lot of emotions going through right now. A lot of emotions. Jay says, Kyrie didn't agree with Brad Stevens' offense, and I agree with Kyrie. Tommy says, Brad lineup at the end of the third and fourth quarter was bad. JB, who was bad all game. PP, Grant, Tice, and Jeff. That's where the Nets pulled away. Yeah. So are we saying, yeah, give me a yes or no in the chat, everyone in here. Are we saying this is a Brad Stevens loss or sort of just the team didn't, because I don't know where to come out. Like I said, I'm still making up my mind on this game live on air. Are we saying this is a Brad Stevens loss? Yes or no in the chat? Like, is this one we blame on the rotation, or is it, to me, what I think I'm leaning towards is that Jalen and Kemba obviously need to do more against a good team like this. I lost my place here. We're skipping ahead. Kale says, it feels like we were carving out a nice little rotation. Smart gets back and subtly Smart returns, and it's all left up. I don't know if Smart was the reason. No. Jay says, did Neesmith insult Brad Stevens' his grandmother? Like, why can't the kid see minutes? I don't know. I don't know why you're not giving this. You're losing games, right? Okay, I'm sorry. They won 4 in a row. You guys got your discount code, right? You killed me. You got your discount code. I get it. They won 4 in a row. But if we look at the bigger picture, as of late, the last month of the Celtics team, they're losing games. Why aren't you giving the kid a shot? I don't know. Abdul says TT missed 100 free throws. Ian says, we are now the second half of the season. Why can't Brad figure out a set rotation yet? Semi Neesmith are DNPs now, but Grant and Teague are getting major minutes now. The rotations are a joke. Yeah, they are a joke. And I'll say this. So I just asked the Brad Stevens versus, was the players tonight. There has to be. Take this game outside of it. There should be. You are, almost 40 games into this year. You should 1,000,000% have a rotation. At least some semblance of a rotation, guys. Like, it's not like, okay, Grant's either going to play, 8 minutes or 15. Even that's a lot. We're going from guys, like you say, literally not sniffing the floor and getting splinters in their ass from the bench to playing 20 minutes a night. That is the sign of a team that really doesn't know which way is up. And I really don't buy it's all matchup based. It's all matchup based. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's all matchup based. What do you mean it's matchup based? Grant Williams versus Semi Ojeleye? Give me a break. One of those guys is super good at covering a specific type of player. Neither one of those guys are super good at anything. So the fact that they're still tampering and it's still preseason type of thing with this rotation is a little bit scary. Greg says, I don't think you can slander Teague tonight. People just shit on him now because of how bad he's been, but he's still better than Grant Williams and Semi Ojeleye. Keeping that nickname, Semi Ojeleye. I think you can, I'll say this, and I wonder if this is a compromise. I think we can shit on the idea of Jeff Teague. The fact that we have to rely on a guy like Jeff Teague is a problem. When you have teams like even, this is a bad example, yet somehow it still wins the argument. You can go to a guy like Landry Shamet, who, let's be honest, he kind of played out of his shoes tonight, but he still has that go-off ability. No one on this bench has any sort of like, oh yeah, they're going to sniff 20 points. No one has that go-off ability, and that's where they can struggle. Like, maybe you want to give me Pritchard, but I don't know. Pritchard's still a rookie. I'm not relying on that. Lost my play. This chat is weird tonight. Kale says, I just can't believe how hard it is to fit Smart, and we got to cut some of the fat. Kellen, what the hell did Neesmith do to get no minutes? Can't wait till the deadline. Pray Grant is gone. Jay says, nobody beating BK, no matter the moves. It might be 3 dark years of Brooklyn dominating. And this isn't even the finished Brooklyn team. That's what's scary. Clint says, Grant Williams is obviously terrible. He plays, him playing tells me Danny effed it all up. Yeah, I don't know. And you see my point. We talked about it when Grant Williams scored 17 points. What was it, 17 points last game? We talked about it. I said, I'll give him credit where it's due, but we're going to get a crap Grant Williams more often than not. And now we have it. And I was on the Bannertown From the Rafters podcast with the guys that do the pregame show on this channel. It was a good show. Go check it out. I think we posted that episode on our YouTube channel as well, so listen to it. I said Grant Williams could go and be somewhere, he could be something somewhere else. I'm not going to say no to that. I'm talking about this Celtics team. He doesn't fit, and he stinks on this Celtics team. End of story. Jason saying Brooklyn will be a top team in the East for the next 5 years when KD comes back. I think I was afraid of them even before getting Harden. Then they get Harden, and then they get, I don't know what everyone makes out of Blake Griffin, but then they get Blake Griffin. Wanting some starting trade Kemba and start Smart at point guard agenda. Did I just say agenda twice? Maybe this game did cross some wires, because I don't know what the heck I'm saying now. I'm still not with the trade Kemba. I think, obviously, you guys know the way I lean on that. He's not an untouchable, but I think he's a tough guy to trade. Like, you're trading him at an all-time low, expensive, and I think I've used this analogy before. You'd be trading a horse, even if it's an older horse. You'd be trading a horse for ponies, and who knows if you want to do that. Mike says it's definitely a Brad Stevens loss. Ray says, I agree. You're saying you're 100% right for today. You'll see that, hey, if we're talking Marcus Smart, I will say I'm right for today. No telling what he's going to do. So I'll give you that one, Ray. I do see, we're never going to see the end of some games, hopefully not in most games, but some games where Marcus Smart just Steph Curry's it out there. And by Steph Curry, I mean shoots the ball. He's not always going to make them like Steph. Abdul says, yes, for sure. Mike says, I'm thinking the coaching problem more of anything. Sergio says, I don't think it's a Brad Stevens loss. We were down 2 and a turnover screwed us. Fair. Jalen, bad rotations, bad defensive schemes. Brad saying, so frustrating. Brad just seems to make bad decisions. He also sounds and acts like his dog just got ran over. How about some enthusiasm? It's his L. I mean, I think I said this once before, and we got terrible reply. Like, you guys, not live, but some of the comments, and then on Twitter, people hated on me for this. Brad Stevens gives the worst mic'd up pep talks. They will be losing, just like tonight, right? That was when Kyrie was going off, and Brad's like, I'm starting to really see some stuff I like out there. And there's this pause, and he's like, yeah, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and really try and, stay in the moment. It's like, is someone holding up like a how-to coach key card behind him, and he's just like reading off these quotes that you would find in any 5th grade, how to coach a 5th grade travel team book? Because his motivation levels are low. And again, I'll say it. I think that motivation level is a factor. So many people on Twitter, especially some bigger Celtics accounts, say, oh my God, it has nothing to do with motivation. Bullshit, it has nothing to do with motivation. You are a coach. It's not going to hurt to motivate your players. Is it the biggest problem? I don't know. But let's be real. If you had a motivator, look at what Doc Rivers has done with the Sixers. How would you categorize Doc Rivers? Oh yeah, he can motivate his players. Look at that. Now they're a way better team than they were with Brett Brown. Obviously he's a better coach in other aspects too, but motivation is it's underrated. Players didn't finish the 4th quarter. That's not on Brad. No, this is what Jaylen Brown and Kemba. They both suck. 100%. We are like 50-50. I wish I could do a poll in this chat. I don't know if we can even do that. I wish we could do a poll because this is like a 50-50 response in terms of Brad Stevens versus the players. To me, I'm not happy with the rotations, but I don't care about your rotations if Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker are scoring combined 24 points in a combined minus 10, which it's not as bad as I thought. I said that out loud, but still, like their percentages even added up don't even get to 60%. So I think I'm leaning that's where the fault comes down. Sports says it still comes down to no firepower coming off the bench. Completely agree. Guys, I'm going to skip ahead in the comments a little bit. I got to stay recent as we're getting more and more comments. I will say if you are new to the channel, I'm seeing a few new names in here tonight. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. We're here live after every Celtics game, whether it is a terrible, terrible loss, a loss, an win, or an amazing win. We're here live after every single Celtics game. We're not having as much fun tonight. If this is a win on a Friday, we might be, I don't know, poking sharp things into a beer and shotgunning them. Not tonight, obviously, with the loss, but make sure you subscribe to the channel. Mawul saying, Brad didn't even fight for Smart on that Harden 3 call. Who would want to play for that? Yeah, I was screaming at the TV there. I was like, just review it. Marcus Smart looks at you and goes, what are you waiting for? It's like he looks back at the bench. I don't know. That's like having no feel for it. You know what I mean? There's no feel in that situation. I'm not saying, that cost them the game. I'm not. But there's got to be some sort of connection of, okay, you know what? One of my heart and soul guys on this team said review it. I was looking at it. All the other players are saying review it. I don't need to turn to the cameraman to make sure this is 100% right. You got to get just like in football, you got to get the flag out before the next play happens. You're not always going to have time to call up to the booth, look at your little iPad and figure it out. You got to have a feel for it. And that was a momentum changer. I'll give you that. Clint saying Tatum and Brown are awesome. When they're both amazing, we are amazing. Sadly, it's a rare occasion. Why is that? Lineups, coaching, player performance. I think Jaylen Brown got burnt out a little bit. I think he started to, not regress. I don't want to use that word, but he started to slow down. I really did think that Jaylen Brown, was going to be great coming back from the All-Star break. I thought he was going to be more rejuvenated, ready to go. One game, I understand that, and it just didn't look like that. It looked like we're still seeing a guy that, and I don't know. Let me know if I'm reading too much into this. Jaylen Brown stunk when Kemba came back into the lineup. Marcus Smart comes back into the lineup, and Jaylen Brown stinks. Do you think he needs time to mentally feel out like where the shots are being allocated and whatnot, or I feel like I'm grasping at straws, but I don't know. Kale says, you think Sixers is down to Rivers motivating? Front office made major complimenting moves surrounding Simmons and Embiid. Danny Green, Steph Curry are mega pieces for Philly. Looking at Ainge. No, I agree. Those are pretty big issues, but I think, if they still have Brett Brown, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm going to give you Steph Curry. I don't think Danny Green really is. I don't give much credit to Danny Green. Seth Curry's been great, but I think obviously, the first thing Doc Rivers said to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, he said was, hey, by the way, there's enough room on the court for both of you guys. And how much bickering from Ben Simmons and Embiid have we seen this year? Zero. There's plenty of that last year. There was rumors that they couldn't play together. They need to go opposite ways. I think you all of a sudden get this legendary coach in there, and boom, things started to click. So yeah, they made some moves. Dwight Howard. You say Danny Green. I'll give you Steph Curry. Like, there's plenty of moves that Philly made to get better, right? But I think their best move, and it's an opinion thing, and I guess I clearly think the coach has more of an impact. I think Philly got a lot better because of the coach, too. Dean says, Brown walks like his legs are killing him and shuffle when he runs up the court. Kale says 7 more likes. What are we at? The goal for tonight, obviously we're not going to hit 50 again, all right? But we are shooting for 25 likes. It looks like we need 7 more, so let's get those likes. Okay, what's up with this? There's 20, what is it? We got 20 people watching. I think it just dropped down. If everyone likes the video, we're closer to that goal. I'll stay on here all night until we hit 25 likes, goddammit. Kellen says we need to use the TPE now and not wait till the offseason, playing with fire and losing it potentially. Yeah, but it could go both ways, you know what I mean? Like, it could go both ways that, the options that are out there now in terms of availability could be nice right now. And then all of a sudden, that if we use it now, we could have missed an opportunity the offseason. But I do think you at least do something. Maybe not use the full TPE, whatever, but do something to show that you care about this team. Do something to tell Tatum, to tell Brown that, hey, this season's not going well, but we're not giving up on it. That's what I would like to see. Jay says, Brad is so lucky he isn't in the Western Conference. Kale says, we got 20 people in here right now trying to get to 25. Guys, like this stream. Let's go. Hey, I say it all the time, right? It's a fact, too. If you like this stream, the Celtics score an extra point next game. If you subscribe and you're new, it's 2 extra points. If you're not doing that, you're probably a Kyrie fan. If you're not liking the stream and subscribing to the channel, you're probably a Kyrie fan, and that's a fact. It is. It is. You could go on like Urban Dictionary and type not liking Ev's streams, and it equals Kyrie fan. Jason says, no motivate Brad. Bad rotation and Brad playing Grant. Haven't seen a game that Brad won with coaching. How many games have we seen this year that we can honestly be like Brad Stevens out-coached the other guy? That's sad. Not many. And I'm not saying you'd always notice that, right? You wouldn't always notice that. But there hasn't been many games where you're like, oh my God, he out-coached that other guy. And it's like, so obviously a weird comparison. But Bill Belichick, you say it all the time. If you're a Patriots fan too, you notice, oh my God, he put that other coach in a mind pretzel, right? Brad Stevens, obviously he's a well-acclaimed coach according to his peers and whatnot. His peers are kicking his ass this year. Like, maybe that was a long con for them, telling him, oh my God, you're so good. Here's the pedestal that you can go on. You're so good. All the other coaches are saying that. Just so when he finally has a good team, he's just dog water, because he has been outcoached multiple times. ASAP says Tatum had a few nice threes in the second half. Kyrie had like 7. Star power, they had more star power, and it came down to star power, and Kyrie just went off. Abdul says, I don't think Brad has ever used a challenge successfully. He always uses it on something stupid or uses it on an obvious call. He used it against, I don't know if it was last game or the game before. He used it on an and 1 foul, which, shocker here. How could you do that? Shocker here. Guess what? If you win the challenge, you save a potential 1 point. If you lose the challenge, the guy could still miss the foul shot. I was like, I don't know. I was just confused. And I think it may have been 3 games ago now that I think about it. It's so weird to me when he uses the challenges. And what I think he does is waits for that computer guy in the back to be like, hey, challenge it. And sometimes that's obviously not going to be right, because guess what? Guess what, Brad? It's just that guy looking at the computer thing. It's not like there's some calculations and algorithm being like, oh, that was not a foul. You should challenge it. No, it's just another person. So if you're the head coach, why don't you take your own set of nuts and say, I'm going to challenge this because I think that was not a foul, or I think that was a foul. It's crazy. I don't know why he seems to botch it. Jay says Jalen stunk. Yep, since Kemba. I think it's weird. I think Jalen's feeling out what his role is. I don't know. Wangi says, I think I'm skipping ahead just a little bit here. Wangi says, I do think JB needs a rest. He played 40 minutes tonight. Yeah, I think and the thing is, he's so, like, they're not going to ever ask Tatum to guard the hardest guy. I mean, he will, because he's an above average defender to some degree. But I think that, Jaylen Brown still in Brad Stevens' schemes is, hey, go out there and guard one of the better guys. And he was guarding, was it Joe Harris tonight? I think he guarded for a while, who was running all over the court. So never mind Jaylen playing 40 minutes. He's like sprinting for 40 minutes. But when's he going to get his rest? This team is built to rely on Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You can't be like, oh, let's get Jaylen Brown a rest. Because if you're going to rest him and he's going to play every other game, whatever it is, you can just chalk the season. You know what I mean? Clint says, Brown off the bench makes him play alpha. Try it, Brad. It did fire him up a couple years ago. Greg says, Nets are the leaders to get Drummond too, other than the Lakers. If they get him, it's game over. We'll lose in 4 to that team if we make the playoffs far enough to play them. Yeah, I mean, people want to rag on the Blake Griffin signing. Oh, it doesn't do much. People want to rag on the if they get Drummond, it's not going to do much. You get a bunch of these guys, and you're already one of the better teams, if not the best team in the conference. It's not going to hurt you. So them being the favorites on this does 2 things. I think it makes them, if not marginally better, it makes them, way better. But it also takes them away from every other team that could possibly using them to combat the Nets, which is tough. It's like, they're joining front runner teams and whatnot, but hey, whatever. Kale says off the bench. Yeah, I would not bench Jaylen Brown. I know you're saying, try it to send a message or whatever, but I think Jaylen Brown, I think he's completely earned his starting spot. Like, he's not seeing the bench anytime soon, unless he's going to score 10 points every single night, but News said, I think Brad is more like Toby than Kevin. Kevin is likable. Nobody in the office likes Toby. Did I miss an Office reference? That I think Brad being Toby is kind of spot on. It is. All right, we're going to continue this stream, I promise, but I'm going to tell you guys about Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com, use promo code CelticsLive to save 20% off and free shipping. Guys, they sent me a nice little care package. I've used this stuff. The ball deodorant is incredible. Not to go into too much detail, but you shower, you dry off, then all of a sudden your goodies are just sitting there. You get a little bit of the ball deodorant, and you freshen up, and it's perfect for summer. They keep you feeling cool all day long. They sent me the Lawnmower 3.0 as well, which makes the job way easier. You can use it all over your body, too. You don't have to get graphic with it. But head over to manscaped.com and pick some stuff up for 20% off and free shipping with Celtics Live. Jay says, the thought of playing KD, Harden, and Kyrie in a series and demoralizing, I'm losing faith for 3. Yeah, I mean, if the Celtics don't make any moves and they play the Nets, a fully healthy Nets team, I mean, Nets in 3. Like, the Celtics might as well wave the flag at the end. But obviously they won't, because they do have the ability to beat anyone if, the 3 top guys play better and Marcus Smart steps up. But that's just a damn good team, and the rich are getting richer. Jason saying the same guys that love Brad give him all the credit for JT and JB doing well. When they lose, JT and JB get blamed. Kale says, I was firmly for Brad for the first 30% of the season, but I'm being worn down by these games. And that's kind of what's happening to me. That is exactly what's been happening to me. If you guys have stuck around since the beginning of this season, I have said over and over again, I'm not on the fire Brad Stevens train. You're not going to fire him. You're not going to get anyone better. That's always been the sort of, hesitation. Who are you going to get instead of him? Which I'm sure a lot of you guys watching or listening still think, right? But what is Brad Stevens doing that Joe Schmo off the street can't do? That's what it comes down to. And I'm still not pushed towards firing him. And I still think he has that good coach and great coach in him. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But what has he been doing lately? Specifically him. If you want to credit that win streak to him, go for it. All power to you. But what has he been doing that some random chance of a coach isn't doing? And I said that, right? I used to say, okay, how are you going to get someone else that to replace him? He might not be what you want right now, but are you going to get someone that does the things he does? I haven't seen him do any of the stuff he does. I've noticed a lot of negatives. So while I'm playing devil's advocate here. I still lean towards, there's no one out there that's going to be as good as him, no matter how bad he is right now. But I think, Kale, you said it, like, I'm getting worn down by some of these games, and it's like, why not make the change at some point? At some point. Maddie saying, love the post-game shows. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Maddie. I see you on Periscope. Try and head out over to YouTube. Subscribe there. That's where we're going to be doing these streams moving forward. I don't want anyone watching on Periscope to miss out. Damn, Jay's still on Periscope too. Jay and Jason are always in the streams, but you guys come in through Periscope. Come on. You guys show your boys some support over on YouTube. Dean says, got him Sunday. Peace and enjoy the weekend. A lot of college hoops. Yep. March, baby. Fab says, Brad's bench rotation is whack. I can't see how Brad is a genius. Seems scatterbrained to me. It kind of rolls into what I just said, right? If we're not seeing that genius, then who are we to say, oh, there's no one better out there? I'm not there yet, but I'm saying it. That's the beauty of this. I can be like, I don't mean this, but here's a really good point. and I already, covered myself. Clint says, what would the score have been tonight if they had KD? Scary. Probably. Ubi says Brooklyn with a Mickey Mouse ring. Jay Cedar says they'll pack it up for 3 years and hope the Jays don't leave us in 3 years because Brooklyn ain't going anywhere. Maui says when players come back, JT throws his shot selection out the window because he's worried he won't get his shots up. Yeah, I think we're starting to see something to that degree. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but I think we're starting to see something to that degree. Guys, I'm seeing a lot of new names in here still late in the stream. We're going to pack up pretty soon, but still a lot of new names. If you guys are interested in this Celtics live postgame show after every single Celtics game, we just started doing these here on YouTube. We've been doing them on Twitter for years. We just started doing these on YouTube this season. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the stream. Let me get a like check here. I got this one, Kale. I know Kale is my official like police. But I'm checking it. So we are at still 20 likes. We can get 25 likes. If you're in this video right now, just like it. It's simple. Just like it. We hit 50 last live stream. I'm only asking for 25 this stream. That's the goal. Greg says, I said that Brad Stevens' tone of voice in the interviews is Kevin from The Office, just boring and bland, but Kevin actually has charisma and is funny. Yeah, Kevin's like I love Kevin in The Office. I think Toby was a good call. I'm glad that you two are figuring this one out because that is a perfect call. Ian saying only way, actually, guys, these comments are flipping all over. Wongy says, does not making the playoffs get Brad fired? No. I don't think so. I think for whatever reason, he's untouchable right now. Wick said it, which I still don't know if I totally believe. Like, I don't know what Wick Grossbeck was going to say when asked. Hey, are you going to fire Brad Stevens? No comment. You might as well say yes. So what did he say? He was like, oh, those are my guys. I'm not touching him or Danny Ainge, right? What else is he going to say? So I don't buy it that much. Like, it could be true, but I just don't think it moves the needle either way. But I don't think they're going to fire Brad. Like, I think everyone in this town, including the organization, thinks that he is the golden child. Ian says the only way to get this team out of the first round is with a move for a key role player at the deadline. Need another forward scorer to start or come off the bench and play some fourth quarter minutes. Yeah, preach, man. I agree. Night Gaming and Streaming says Celtics need a bench defender like Josh Okogie. Our bench has no defense. Our bench has no defense or offense. That's the issue. Like, no defense or offense. They don't have any. Think about some of these teams in the league. They have these defensive, like, specialists, whatever side of the ball you want to call them. Our defensive specialist is Grant Williams or Semi Ojeablo. We use that nickname. There we go. We have those two guys, which they're not specialists. Our offensive specialists off the bench are quickly turning into Grant Williams and Semi Ojeleye. That's terrible. Or Jeff Teague. Or, we have to rely on Peyton Pritchard, who I love, but he's still a rookie. There's nothing. No one moves the needle in either direction, offense or defense. They're just a bunch of wastes of space on this bench, and that ain't good. Kale says, if we don't make the playoffs after 3 and 4 Eastern Conference Finals, I'm sure he must be fired. Yeah, I would see how I feel at that point personally, because I still just believe that Danny and Wick, or just Wick alone, would say, no, we're going to ride with him. Movie says, I've also noticed whenever a player's on fire, he always goes away from him. Brad, if you can't see, maybe call play for your superstar. Yeah, it's true. Jayson Tatum's a good example. 2 post plays in a row, he went and scored late in the game, right? And then they went down, and I think it was a Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker 2-man game. And it's like, okay, well, you saw Jayson Tatum just have a marvelous 2 possessions in a row. You thought maybe he could get a touch, but no. Jason says, I've been a Boston fan since 1982. Brad is not the guy to take Boston to the next level, which is the NBA Finals. Yeah, I'm starting to think that more and more. I'll be completely honest. Kale says, 4 more likes for the target. We're trying to get to 25 with 24 people watching. I'm just starting to think if you didn't like the stream and you're watching right now, Kale, can we agree? If someone's watching the stream right now and they haven't liked it, I think they must just hate me. Because it's not fair. Guys, It's not fair. If you're watching this right now and you don't like it, it's not fair. I know. You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do to get you guys to see if you want to like it? Let's see if I could pop something up here. Ready? Like the stream. We have fun lights. That better do it. If we don't hit 25 likes now, I'm going to be pissed. Abdul says, Marcus Smart, Bradley Beal, Jayson Tatum, Harrison Barnes, Robert Williams, or Tice. My chat. I'm telling you, this is not my fault. I'm usually pretty good at keeping up with chat. That's a lie. I'm not. But this thing is wilding out right now. Knight saying Terrence Ross would actually fix our bench. That is becoming one of the guys that I really, really want. So on my podcast with Dante Turo from Dante on Deck and then Color Sports, we talked about it last week, and he brought up, getting Terrence Ross, and I was like, I mean, you talk about go-off potential, which is kind of what I'm looking for. Yes, sir. Terrence Ross has that. I think he's, 13 mil? I remember, is Terrence Ross, which isn't terrible, but it's more than I thought. But, yeah, I mean, I would take Terrence Ross. It's a good call. He's becoming one of the guys that I really, really want, which I'm still puzzled at why we want these guys that were either playing for or one-time Orlando Magic players. We figured that out live on stream, and I was mind-blown. We're talking Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, Vucevic, Terrence Ross. It's like, what the heck? Why are we talking only Orlando guys? Greg says, how can we not fire Brad? Like, I don't like the argument no one is better. Literally get a former coach or player that knows rotation basketball overall. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm leaning towards that. I've been worn down and whittled down to do that. To finally be like, okay, you know what? Who's a better option? Anybody. But I think we are going down the Brad Stevens train and I know we're talking like if he doesn't win, they get bounced to the playoffs, so that's fair. We are going down a Brad Stevens rabbit hole this stream when I don't know if this is a Brad Stevens blown game. Even if the rotation stunk, even if I don't agree with Grant Williams and Robert Williams playing the same amount of minutes, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, 13 and 11. And I know you agreed with that, Greg, so I'm not calling you out for it, but it's like, I know we're going down the Brad Stevens rabbit hole. He didn't have the best game, but he also didn't lose them the game. And there's been plenty of games. You guys know I'm quick to pull the trigger on that was a Brad Stevens blown game, right? So I call it like it is. Knight saying, we got 20. Did I pop those lights up and then all of a sudden we're looking at 27 likes? Should I just do that all stream long? Can we hit a brand new like record of like 1,000 likes in one stream? I'm going to save that. Peel back the curtain because you guys know that I just do that if I'm on the stream long enough. You find out little tidbits about how this operation comes together. I have an app for this, and you can pick red, green, blue, or yellow. And I was like, green, obviously, right? Just figured out. All you have to do is click one other tab on the app for the lights, and there's just these lights flickering, strobe lights, all this BS that I was like, it's too much for me. So I know that little flicker one. But it took me, how long have we had these lights? It took me that to be like, there's more than just a green light. Very good, Ev. You are really learning it. But Knight says, Brad Stevens a decent coach this year. Our team has less practice, so it's harder for us to adjust to things and get better. It's fair. Like, I'll hear that out, and I think that's a fair argument. But at the same time, just to play devil's advocate again, I feel like we're doing that a lot this stream. Don't you think, near 40 games of in-game, participation as a coach and watching this and actual in-game coaching, you should start to feel out the team, you know what I mean? So I don't know if this is what you meant, but I'm going to agree with you when you say Brad Stevens is a decent coach. Like, that's as good as he's been this year. New says, could we throw some ball deodorant to get some to trade for Grant Williams? Hey. That's a deal. I mean, if you offer some Manscaped, by the way, promo code Celtics Live to save 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped, the link's in the description. If you throw some ball deodorant with Grant Williams, any team would trade for that. You want Harrison Barnes, Grant Williams, and ball deodorant, sign me up. You want any good player in the world? You want Devin Booker? You want Bradley Beal? We'll take the ball deodorant. Grant Williams, we don't even need. Hell, we'd probably have to use half the bottle on his balls because he stinks out loud. But damn, yeah, I would love to see Grant Williams go. I think I saw that in the chat as well. Chaos says, what's the dream trade for us here? The dream... You guys drop your dream trades in the chat right now, those of you that are still watching. because you guys know my take on this. I'm always like, you know what? The dream trade isn't the big flashy name. Would it help? Sure. But I'm looking to add 2 or 3 guys that are just better than Grant Williams, better than Semi Ojeablo, better than Jeff Teague. Give me some guys that just make this team better. I believe in the top half of this team. That is the guy with the Celtics lights and, the Celtics merch and whatnot. Like, obviously, I'm a green teamer and biased, but I think the bottom, not the bottom, but the middle of this team needs work. Big work. By the way, did you guys know here we got the canvases that we got sent to us? We have my little catchphrase, legit, with the clover, and then we got our boy Teddy Celtic. I think it looks pretty good. We used to have some of the hats that I collect there, but we got some of the canvases going. Oh boy. I was saying early in the game, Rob came in, and I feel like players were putting Rob in a tough position to score instead of easing him in. Yeah, I feel like the one negative about, what Rob Williams, how good he's been, it's like they all think, hey, if I throw this up, he's going to dunk it now. There's one fast break where Jalen hucked it, and Rob Williams couldn't get it. And there's another one immediately. Who threw it to him? I forget who, but they just tossed it up, and it's like, dude, he's going to hurt himself jumping so much. Sergio says, if we can get Aaron Gordon and Terrence Ross, we'd be better. I think I'd love that, yeah. Ubi says, how do you feel about Harrison Barnes and the Jeremy Grant rumors? I think we can throw the Jeremy Grant ones out. I think he'd be a huge price tag. I don't see them getting that. Would I love him? Yeah, I think he'd fit like a glove here. Same with Harrison Barnes. But both guys I think you're paying a big price tag for. So take that for what it's worth. I would take both of them. I'd love them on this team. I think I've said that before about Harrison Barnes, but I think you'd be overpaying for either of them. And that's, I don't know. Depending on if you'd want to overpay. When I say overpay, I think you'd be, giving up. I guess I actually don't know what you'd be giving up because I don't give a crap about any draft picks. And if you have to throw in Romeo, do I care? So when I say overpay, I really don't even know what I mean, to be completely honest. Clint saying he would trade Grant Williams. I'm on that train. Kale says Evan Turner to take over for Brad. Hey, why don't we just have them switch roles for a week and see how it goes? Fab says, how much leeway does Brad have? There's there a point where he just has to go? Seems like you guys have the consensus of if he just sucks and bounces out of the playoffs or hell doesn't make the playoffs, that he should be fired, which I don't know. I'm just taken aback by, Brad's our guy. We're never going to move on from him. It's like, what? Really? So he could just have free reign and free, do whatever he wants. This team doesn't matter because it's always the players. I don't like that. So I would love to have a more concrete answer, but I just have a feeling the organization is, drooling over Brad Stevens. This is an interesting take. I kind of agree with it. I really dig it, Greg. I would somehow love Patrick Ewing to leave Georgetown to coach the Celtics. Coaching experience, has the sort of edge. It'd be kind of weird for a Celtics rival to come in and be the coach, but I would not hate that. Clint says trade Romeo, Turdford, and Grant Williams for a bag of balls, as long as you deodorize them at manscaped.com. Sergio says if you think Aaron Gordon stinks, you haven't watched him, and just haven't watched Grant Williams. I think Aaron Gordon. I don't think he stinks, Ubi. I'm gonna agree with Sergio, but I don't think he's where he, if you're trading for Aaron Gordon, let me know if you agree with this, Sergio. If you're trading for Aaron Gordon, you're also hoping he gets a lot better than he is, because the finished product of Aaron Gordon, he shouldn't be finished yet. You know what I mean? So you're trading for a guy that you hope can continue to grow and grow with the Jays, because I don't think he's a finished product yet, but he doesn't stink. No, he doesn't stink. Jason says you can't blame players for going 3 for 20. If the coach don't say anything, then the players will continue. Not a bad point. New says turn on the flashing lights and get a Geno time shirt on. Moe says how many years of JT's contracts are we going to give Brad? Greg says Aaron Gordon doesn't think he would be the 4th player on this team. Clint saying Brad humps. Kale says how the reviews from the girlfriends on the ball deodorant. Hey, the ball deodorant, it works. I'm telling you. And then they also have, guys, this product's amazing. I'm not kidding. And I might be overhyping it just because it works for me. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to work for you. But the ball deodorant, I put it on. It smells great throughout the day. It cools you off. And then they have this spritzer that if you're like any guy, you're sitting there on a summer's day. Maybe you're sitting in a cube all day long. All of a sudden, it's pretty sweaty. It's gross. It's summer. It's humid, whatever. This little spritzer, it's some of the same formula, the ball deodorant. You just pop the pants open and you feel cool as a whistle. It's good stuff. Manscaped.com. I'll flash it up. Manscaped.com. Promo code Celtics Live. 20% off and free shipping. It's good stuff. Greg says Drummond for peanuts because he's still a top rebounder. Would endlessly be our best center. He'd be our best true big man. I'd take him. I think Andre Drummond, you get him for peanuts. I don't know what the harm is, you know? Like, he's a similar story to a lot of guys we talk about in the trades that I have the take on, which I say that to people in real life, they kind of chuckle. Like, you know, my friends are big, oh, Ev, you're the Celtics guy. Like, what do you think they need? And I'm like, anything. Anything. Because all these names being thrown around, not all, but even, you know, Blake Griffin was thrown around and he got bought out. Andre Drummond, if he gets bought out. Obviously, the contracts I'm not a fan of. But any of these, like, washed players, it's like, what harm do you have? If you get him and they're just another Jeff Teague, then whoop-dee-doo. You're back to square one. But you took the chance, and you had a chance to get better. And they're not going to be expensive whatsoever. Jason says, every team played about the same amount of games. Why are they saying Brad didn't get no preseason games? It's a good point. It's a good point. You know, it's tough for Brad. They don't have practice. They don't have preseason. It's like, yeah, just like every other team. Sergio says dream trade is Cap, but that's just not realistic. Yeah, I wish we could get him too. Brad says, I don't think any realistic trade we can make us true contenders. Sad but true. I think you could be a contender if you added a bunch. That's why I don't think one guy changes this team or changes the schematic of this team. I think you have a better chance of getting 3 guys that, you know, none of them are the sexy superstar name, and I think all of a sudden you become a better team, but you still might have to be patient in terms of when you're going to win. Like that, what is it, 2023, a few years from now, when Kemba's contract up, but Bradley Beal's contract's up, maybe Bradley Beal slides in. That could be nice. News says Brown and Rob Williams, 2 first-rounders for Beal. Bradley Beal's so good. I feel like I'm a homer saying I wouldn't do that because he's so good. Jason says Brad's been with Boston longer than Doc in Philadelphia. Nate says order a City Championships hoodie and it should be coming tomorrow. Yeah, I got one of those too. Guys, if you ordered merch on that discount night, shout out to you. Not shout out to me. Absolutely body bagged me with how much money I ended up losing. But I was happy to do it. I'm a man of my word, and we had orders flying in a couple times. I think we had 2 people order something that was out of stock, which, you know, it's tough for them, but it only speaks to how much you guys hammered the discount, so I appreciate that. But at the same time, don't appreciate it because I'm not going to be able to pay my mortgage. But I appreciate it. Ubi says Aaron Gordon's inconsistently and he's always hurt. Good point. I just don't think he stinks. I think that's where you went wrong, Ubi. I think that's what a couple of these guys are jumping on you for. Inconsistent. I don't think anyone can argue that Aaron Gordon's inconsistent because he's not the finished product right now. That's just what I think. Nate saying everyone subscribe and turn on noties. Hey, that is something we're gonna do. I don't mention that. We got a DM about this, and it's a good idea. Because someone saw, I think it was Gear. I don't think Gear's in the chat tonight, but someone saw him do it on the podcast I posted today. And he just said Noti Gang, which is obviously a popular thing. It just makes me think, guys, if we do the podcast on YouTube and whatnot, I think I'm going to start pinning the first person that comments. It doesn't have to be Noti Gang because I think that could be overused. But I think that's a good idea. I think I got to start pushing the notification bell a little bit because I really don't push that. Hell, I barely push people to subscribe or like. That's you guys carrying the weight for me. And you're my teleprompters here. But Ubi says, dream trade would be Kemba, Tice, Grant Williams for LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Kale says, I want to see a 3-team trade. Let me send away Grant, Carson, Draymond, Semi, and Taco. I personally don't mind seeing Kemba if we were able to end up with Larry and a Steven Adams and a Gallo. Jason saying Brad's been with the team longer than Thibodeau in New York. Kel says, I want a guard who can stay in front of the ball with lengths, a big who is an elite role player, and a bench backup. In my mind, that would be a lock for a chip. It's tough to get, though. I would love that, too. Fab says, wait. 3 years now, Danny's dropping the ball. We are always waiting. Nothing is improving. That's true. I'm just throwing, I'm just throwing that out there. That, wait for 3 years for Bradley. I'm not saying they should wait. Clint's saying, I've had enough of Brad's rotations. They just don't make sense. It sucks. I realize our bench sucks. Do a 7-man rotation. Sit Grant and Teague. This team could be good if everyone... The problem's like tonight, even with the rotation, obviously, the core guys didn't play well. But this team, if they could figure out a way to have a smaller rotation and guys weren't getting tired or injured or anything like that, they do have some names here. Nate says, I'm going crazy with his first sponsor. What sponsor? Oh, you mean Manscaped. Guys, you can head over to manscaped.com, pick up some nice stuff for Celtics Live, saves 20% off and free shipping. You won't regret it. I just don't know what Nate, I don't really know what sponsor you're talking about. Wongy says also, did I hear Brad saying something like he's exactly something he said exactly before in a timeout? He always says, I like what I'm seeing out there, or, you know, I'm really starting to see things click. And it's like, you are? Because, dude, I'm watching on my TV from my living room, and I'm seeing things not click. So you're in the game and see things click. That's worrisome. That is. Ubi says, what about Kevin Love? I think he's like damaged goods at this point. Would he fit what Kevin Love is as a player? Would he fit here? I do think so, but I don't know if I would even go out of my way. If he gets, you know, obviously bought out or whatever, and the contract makes complete sense, then I would consider it. Because again, that's like anybody helps his team. But in terms of trading for Kevin Love, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, just like I love LaMarcus Aldridge, or should I say loved LaMarcus Aldridge, I still don't know how I feel about that either. Like, is he a guy that just completely washed? I think I would take him, but in terms of a trade, you actually have to give up something for him. I don't know what I would give. Kale says, what would you prefer to move? Who would you prefer to move first, Ainge or Stevens? Probably Brad. I know Danny gets a lot of heat, but I'm going to stick to my guns when I've said earlier in this year that Danny Ainge, you know, obviously this is not a finished product team, but you guys are crazy if you think Danny Ainge hasn't put together a good enough team to beat the Knicks, the Pelicans, the Wizards, the Pistons. A lot of these losses that have us going in a downward spiral before the at least 4-game win streak, a lot of those losses, shocker, the team was actually good enough to beat those teams regardless of, you know, what team we had constructed or no trades being made. So if it comes down to who do we go to first, I really think we go and ship Brad out first. But, you know, I'm still not at the trade, which is wild. Wild that I've been like looking over the fence for so long but haven't hopped over. Guys, we're going to take a few more comments, then we're going to jump off the stream. News says my legit shirt was out of stock. That was one of the ones. We had a few people go for the legit Stark shirt, and when they went to pick it at the warehouse, it was out of stock. So, News, you're my guy. I mean, I really, really apologize for that. It's not a racket. I swear to God. I think other people in the chat got their products. It's not a racket. I'm telling you, man, that I hate when that type of thing happens, but blame everyone else in the stream, not me. Or blame me for making a dumb discount where it made everyone race to it. Kale saying the Teddy Celtic hoodie, saying Noti Gang. Yeah, so if we want to do that, guys, when you're in the stream, when you're in first, you know, when you're in here before everyone else, let's start dropping Noti Gangs in the comments or in the chat. Sergio says it hurts so much we almost got KD one year and got Kelly Olynyk to the meeting with him. It's like, how could we make sure KD doesn't come here? We'll bring Tom Brady. That's going to definitely lock him in to come. But how can we like counteract the Tom Brady? Let's bring Kelly Olynyk. That's going to make it a wash. It was crazy that we brought him. Scary Terry looking good tonight. Oh, Scary Terry. I miss him so much. They ended up winning by 3. I think I had them at 4.5 too. So lost a little cha-ching there. But yeah, I wish they still had him. News says you need a Grant Williams shirt with the ass 6 picture and the womp womp on it. Oh, that's something that we could do. Greg says, remember when we had Kyrie, Horford, and Hayward and won like 18 to 20 games in a row that year? I remember the good old days. Yeah, that was when you just like loved the team. You know what I mean? Like the Celtics have gotten like, I don't know. I think maybe we just think back to like the, you know, I'll even go back for the Isaiah, and that was like, it was just a lovable team and they grinded every night, but the expectations weren't high. Now the team's good enough where the expectations are high enough and they're just not meeting them. Kale says mine's certified on the tracker. Yeah, the products are real. It's a real store we have. I even said it before I even read your comment, News. We did run into a couple issues, especially with that shirt where people wanted to pick it up and it was already out of stock, which shame on the operations of the store. I can't take credit for that, but I'll bring the hammer down on the people. We'll give them a Grant Williams womp for some of that. But yeah, some of the inventory levels I guess just weren't correct because there was a handful of people that kind of got screwed, and you were one of them. So I really do apologize for that. Jason says Kevin Love's better than Grant Williams. I think so. Even a beaten up and broken old Kevin Love is. Kale says, you're going to love it when you see Bismack Biyombo slap his neck and he chases him in the pregame. Guys, maybe I'll go watch the highlights of some Hornets to feel a little bit better. You know, watch a team that's fun. This team's fun, though. I know the Celtics are fun. I wish that they were playing a little bit better. That's all it is. But I think on that note, I think we're going to end the stream. Of course, another loss. Just getting used to it out here. But thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm glad we hit the like goal. Kale, that's his job. He always sets the like goal. He's setting some, lofty goals here, but we're hitting them. So shout out to Kale, the like police of the stream, and shout out to everyone that tuned in. I really do appreciate the support. And one last thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring the stream. And subscribe if you're not, and we'll catch you in the next stream. Let's hopefully, be talking about a dub. I want to get back to winning. Those 4 games were so nice. But I'll catch you guys in the next stream.